Welcome to the Create a Life That Is Beautiful podcast, your go-to resource for personal development and coaching. I'm your host, Leticia Ringe, and I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I hope you're all doing so well. I'm recording this episode today from London. I just had a beautiful weekend away in the Cotswolds, which was very cute, in a nice country home. The Cotswolds is such a beautiful place here in England, and it was so lovely to go out and get some nature and go for some long walks through farmland and enjoy time with friends. So I hope you've all had a great weekend. And in today's episode, I am dropping another replay of one of the masterclasses I have delivered as part of our Business for Her training series. Business for Her is a 5-part training series that I've delivered over the past week. We have our final training being recorded tomorrow on Thursday. It's all there for you to watch the replays of if you weren't able to join us live yet. However, replays will only be around for a limited time. So if you want to join, you can find all of the replays as well as joining us possibly for the last live training if you catch this in time. And all you need to do is register at leticiaringe.com/business for her. The 5 trainings are dealing with the 5 key problems that cause the most challenges for women in business, and in particular for women who work in the coaching and personal development industry. However, all of the trainings are relevant for you if you fall outside of that industry. And instead of dealing with the surface level symptoms that we usually focus on, like how to decide the right strategy, the right offer, the right messaging, all of those sorts of things, we're talking about what causes you to have challenges with those things. And all so that you can not only grow your business in the way that you want to grow it, maybe it's about financial results, maybe it's client results, maybe it is about ease and sustainability or something else, but also thrive in that process of growth, which is what we want to do as women in business who got into business because we want to live and work on our own terms. Somewhere along the way, it's very easy for your business to take over your life and for you to feel like you are now a servant to the business. And so we have to be really intentional with the way we're growing so that we make sure we're both growing and allowing the business to thrive while also allowing ourselves as women to thrive and the rest of our lives to thrive, which is pretty much the whole point we get into these businesses, other than to, of course, serve people doing what we love and in a way that makes a positive difference to the world and the lives of our clients. So today's training is our 4th training in this series. It's all about how to stop self-sabotaging your business growth, because we all get into this very tricky cycle of self-sabotage where you take a few steps forward and then you take a few steps back, and it feels like that is the journey of your business. It can be very annoying and it's actually unnecessary, and it's because we're not working with the transformation process that is needed in order to effectively and most rapidly transform, change, and grow anything we're working with. I've shared this process on the topic of relationships, and now in today's episode, you're going to hear about it in relation to business. This is some of my newest work when it comes to my coaching, and it is so important, so pivotal. I'm seeing huge changes in my clients as a result of implementing this process. So make sure you stick around, you listen to today's training, you answer the questions for yourself at the end of the training so that you can implement what you learn and actually receive the value of the training. And then make sure you stick around for our next episode, which will give you all the details about the ways I'm working with my clients on their businesses coming up in both private business coaching as well as a business mastermind, and also support services for your business like online business management, marketing and sales management, team and project management, as well as social media and content management. This is the actual doing of the work in your business, or giving you the coaching, mentorship, and mastermind support that you desire. So make sure you stick around as I'll share all the details for that in the next episode, and otherwise enjoy today's masterclass, and you can get access to all of the other trainings over at leticiaringe.com/business for her. Enjoy. Welcome, everybody, to Business for Her. This is day 4. Today, we're talking about how to stop self-sabotaging your business growth and be aligned. Today's training is our 4th training in a 5-part series, all about how to grow your business and thrive as a woman in business, and in particular, as a woman in the coaching and personal development industry. Though everything you learn in these trainings can be applied to your business if it falls within another industry too. Today, we're talking about how to stop self-sabotaging your business growth and be aligned. This is another very common problem that women in business, and I would say anyone in business, faces when you're growing your business and also committed to thriving within yourself, across your life, and obviously within your business. We tend to be in this cycle of self-sabotage where it feels like we take a couple of steps forward and then we take a step or a couple of steps back. And so it has this stop-start energy, and that can be what makes the growth journey really challenging, because it's almost like you keep stepping in your way. It's almost like there's a part of you that doesn't want you to have what you want and what you're spending all of this time and attention and focus toward creating. And that's because that is exactly what's happening. So self-sabotage is really about when you want something, but you keep stepping in your own way. So why do we do this? Well, we do this because the 3 systems within ourselves, something within those 3 systems is not aligned with the growth that we want. And we're going to talk about what some of those reasons are, and also how to get aligned across those 3 systems so that you can grow more easily and have a better experience of growth, and also so that you can obviously be thriving and supporting your growth journey to the best that you can. This allows you to create results more rapidly in some circumstances, and in those where it's still, a longer path, it's going to allow you to actually enjoy that journey from a very practical sense. So when it comes to this problem in business, this is one that most business owners face, and it's one to really pay attention to, because it allows you directly to create the results you want, as well as completely improving your experience through that journey. Now, I'm not saying the journey of growth isn't going to be challenging, that it's not going to be uncomfortable, and that it's not going to be hard, because that is just what growth, transformation, and change is all about. But you don't need to make it harder than it already is, and that's what most of us are doing along our business journeys. So Business for Her is about the 5 most common problems that get in the way of growing and thriving as a woman in business and as a woman within the coaching and personal development industry, which is where I specialize. Now, I support people who fall outside of that industry. I also support people who support coaches and people who work in the personal development industry. But the examples I'll be using in our training today will focus on those of you who have a coaching and personal development business. So if that's not your business, just apply it to your own industry. And it will also focus on specifically how these issues tend to show up for women. So the 5 problems are what are the deeper cause of so many of the symptoms that we experience in business. These symptoms are what we think are the problem, and typically this is what we place our attention on solving, but actually you need to go deeper than that and look at what is causing these symptoms, these surface level problems. And that's what these 5 trainings are about. They're about the 5 deeper problems. So far we've covered the superficial problem of burnout, the fear of burnout, and feeling scattered in your business. And I've shown you how actually that is a result of a lack of focus on the right things in your business. So I've taken you through exercises to get focused and explained what you need to do in order to bring more focus into your business so that you're not experiencing burnout, so that you're not experiencing the fear of burnout, and so that you're also not feeling scattered in your business, which then stops you from growing and thriving in business. In our second training, I addressed how we don't love our business journeys and unconsciously try to escape the journey of being in business and growing, which is what business is all about, hoping that once we get to some future land, then everything will be amazing. But what you realize in business is that it's always a journey. Everything's always changing and there's rebalancing that's required. And that is what it means to be in business. So if you're not loving the journey, you're not going to love having a business. And even if you create the results, which is unlikely if you're hating the journey, you will be resentful of those results. So the surface level problem here is we think, oh, we just need to grow. We just need to figure out like what's the right strategy, what's the right offer, what's the right messaging, like what are the practical things so I can just grow. But actually we need to go beyond that, beneath that, and we need to look at how we're trying to escape the journey of being in business and where we need to realign and reposition ourselves so that we're actually enjoying the journey and what I would describe as loving the journey of being in business, because that is going to position you for the results you want. It's going to keep you in business and it's going to allow you, therefore, to thrive throughout the journey, which is ultimately what we want. And then yesterday in our third training, we covered the independent woman paradox. So the way that this shows up is you think that you just need to work harder in your business. You think you're just not doing enough. You've just got to get it right. And what's really happening is that actually what you need to do is learn how to not only assert that independence and take responsibility and be in control of what you need to take control of in your business, but even more than that, you need to learn how to find the balance between that and also asking for help and receiving and allowing support in your business. It's not one or the other. And typically we need to learn how to build up both. You can think of these as examples of your masculine and feminine energy. And what's happening in our industry and within the conversations that are going on about women in business is there's this tendency to pick a side. Either I'm in my masculine or I'm in my feminine. And as I love to continue to teach people, because working with masculine and feminine energy is something I've specialized in since the beginning of my business. And it's also something we learn how to work with through working with our body as women, which through the menstrual cycle and your hormonal cycle is actually shifting you through periods of being in masculine creative energy and feminine creative energy. So it's actually so natural for us to be working with both, and anything that you create or want to create requires both of these energies, and it's the same for your business. So we need to learn how to ask and receive support in our businesses in order to work smarter, in order to work better, and in order to thrive as business owners. And we need to learn how to take responsibility and step into leadership in our businesses. And so it's about learning how to do both and finding that balance. And that's what we focused on in our training yesterday. Now, in today's training, we're talking about how to stop self-sabotaging. And this is really about learning how to work with the transformation cycle. I call it the conscious transformation cycle. And I've created a way to describe what this cycle looks like and how to work with it so that you stop stepping in your own way and get the three systems within you aligned for your growth so that it's not adding discomfort on top of discomfort and making the journey even harder. And then tomorrow we'll be talking about focusing on solving the right problem for where you are in your business right now. So that's going to be really, really important because a lot of you are actually trying to solve problems that have nothing to do with where you are in your business right now. And this is leading you to do a lot of busy work and maybe even to feel burned out and not create the results you need to move your business forward. And we need to stop doing that. So I'm going to explain to you what you need to focus on instead. Okay, so back to today's training. So how to stop self-sabotaging your business growth and be aligned. As I was saying, the self-sabotage cycle looks like there's part of you that wants something to be different in your results, in terms of your business results, your life results, or just the way you feel within yourself. But then as you go about the journey of moving towards that, you find that you make some progress forward, maybe focusing just on the actions you're taking to move towards your goals, which is what you have control over rather than the goal itself. And then you find that maybe you stop taking those actions. Maybe you get into some momentum and then you fall out of momentum. Maybe you start seeing some results in your business and then you find yourself back to where you started or moving backwards. And this can be really frustrating and hard to stay motivated. So why does this happen? Well, the reason this happens is because there is a part of you that is unconsciously committed to staying and remaining where you are right now in your business, in your life, and the way that you feel within yourself. For instance, the emotions that you experience on a day-to-day basis, most of us tend to experience the same emotions on repeat, day in and day out. That is because there is a part of us that is used to feeling that way and actually recreates these emotions. We nurture that emotional experience and environment within ourselves. When we approach this consciously, we learn, hey, actually, I can actually choose what environment emotionally I want to cultivate within myself. I like to call this what you want your state to be. And so we learn how to work with our emotions consciously to create that state, right? But there will also be emotions that you have been used to experience over and over and over and over and over again. They've become such a habit within you that even when you're directing your attention to a new emotional environment that you are learning to cultivate, you keep getting taken back to that old environment. So this is what we're talking about when we talk about self-sabotage. You feel like, hey, I want to be here and I'm directing my attention to here, but I keep going back here. Why is that happening? So that's just like a micro example of what we might call self-sabotage. And it's because part of you is just used to and in a habit of experiencing those emotions. Now, in addition, we also are unconsciously committed on a body and mind level to being where we are. From a more obvious point of view, it's because where you are now is familiar and it's comfortable, and your mind's job is to keep you protected and safe. So that would be to keep you in the land of comfort and to keep you in the land of familiarity. Even if this is not better than where you're going, even if this is not safer than where you're going, your mind is trying to protect you and keep you there. Now, so many people spend so much time trying to figure out why they are remaining where they are or why they keep self-sabotaging their growth. They want to know, what is the story that I learned when I was a kid or that I brought into this life that is making this journey of growth so hard? And maybe you use hypnosis or other modalities that help you to become aware of what that unconscious story is. And sometimes those modalities do help. They give you awareness of what that story is so that you're now aware, and then consciously as you move throughout your life, you can choose actually what the truth is and how you want to move forward. And then sometimes we work on this with our mindset, right? Just realigning our mindset or realigning our emotions and feeding different stories, feeding different emotions so that we keep trying to create new habits. This is great. It's really helpful to do that, and I highly recommend that you do. However, when it comes to understanding what those personal stories are and making sense of them, I think that there is less importance spending time there. I think there's actually a line in Eckhart Tolle's book, A New Earth, which talks about how we could all write a dossier on why we are the way that we are. But how is that going to help you actually change your experience? Sometimes it does give us a little bit of change, right? It tells us, okay, I realize that this is the reason why behaving this way, and so I'm going to choose something different. But you still have to choose something different, right? So even if we're not aware of why we are the way we are, we can still choose something different. So my recommendation is that we focus on choosing something different. And in order to do that, you have to understand that no matter what the story is, right now, a part of you, whether it's your body or your mind, and sometimes it's actually your intuition, is committed to remaining where you are right now. So you need to learn how to get your mind, your body, and your intuition aligned with where you want to go. And that's what we're going to be dealing with in today's training. So I want to give you another example of this self-sabotage cycle that is unrelated to business. There's something I was recently researching when it comes to our bodies, and it's called set point theory. And the idea is that when you lose a lot of weight, it's 5 to 10% of your body weight in a period of 6 months or less, your body actually starts to regain that weight from a place of like protection because it sees that weight loss as bad, right? It wants to maintain the status quo. And so unless you have a period of 6 months where you're just maintaining your new set point, which is the weight that you lost, what you weigh at that point, your body will actually put all of that weight back on. And this is why people go up and down in weight and they tend to end up where they started. So there's not this period of actually maintaining the growth, right? And so that's what the body is doing. And if the body is doing that in a physical sense with our bodies, then it makes sense that it's also doing that in terms of other changes in our life. So we need to learn how to actually relax both the body and the mind so that they are on board with the change, with the growth. And we also need to make sure that the growth we're moving towards is actually also supported by your intuition. Because I know that so many of you have experienced this, that if something's not aligned with where you're meant to go from that place of knowing, then you're going to have trouble moving forward. So as a very first port of call, we always want to make sure we're tuning in with our intuition, that we're getting the information it has for us, because there could be a better way, and that might be the reason that you're not moving forward. That's one thing that we do. I always work with my clients. I'm trained as an inner voice facilitator, which is all about accessing your intuition and having your intuition lead your life and your business. So we always start there. And then from that place of leadership, wanting to be aligned with that higher wisdom within you, we then want to make sure that we align our body and mind with where we're going. And that requires you to work in the language of the body and in the language of the mind. So this is something that I have spent my entire career in coaching learning about, how to work with these three systems in their languages so that we can achieve change and transformation in the most easeful way. In order to do this, I have created something I call the conscious transformation cycle. And this is just a way to understand transformation. And what actually tends to get the body and mind into a place of resistance is a result of missing the first step in the transformation process. So I've shared this before, especially in terms of relationships, but I'll just share it here right now. The conscious transformation process looks like this. The first step is about awareness. This is where you need to be aware of where you are right now, and you need to move from a place of resisting where you are to a place of accepting where you are right now. A lot of us consciously don't want to be where we are. So we're trying to escape where we are to get somewhere better. But at the same time, your mind, and most likely your body as well, is actually committed to where you are because of what we talked about before. And so that's why there's this push-pull between you. So the best thing that you can do to help yourself consciously move forward and get aligned with those three systems is you want to come to a place where you're accepting where you are and not judging where you are. You're allowing yourself to fully occupy and be where you are, even from a place of love, or at the very least from a place of neutrality, before you attempt to move through the rest of the transformation cycle. This step is almost always overlooked and skipped by everyone, and that is why you end up self-sabotaging. The second step is about clarity. This is where, when from a place of acceptance, you suddenly get the real clarity about where it is you want to go. But if you skip that first step, you are trying to escape where you are because you think somewhere else is better. This leads you to make really bad decisions and make decisions from a place of fear about where you want to go. That's not good. So you're not actually getting the conscious clarity you want that will allow both body and mind, as well as your intuition, to be aligned with where you're going. So that first step, as you can see, is so crucial, even for clarity. So a lot of people, once they work through my process with me, which I support my clients through in all the ways that I work with them, they actually find that what they want, the nuances or even the entire thing, is different to what they thought they wanted before they completed that first step. The third phase is all about realignment. And this is like the messy middle. It's where now you know where you are, you know where you want to go, and now you need to learn the skills to move you from where you are to where you want to go. This requires you to occupy new actions, new energy, new state. It requires you to fail. It requires you to learn. And this has its own difficulties, right? Because you're doing new things. And so you have to allow yourself to be not great through this part of the journey in order to get to where you want to go. And that's where having people around you, whether it's a coach or a mentor, whether it's a mastermind and a group of peers, to support you, as well as doing your own self-coaching daily to support you through that journey, to keep going, to keep moving forward, to keep loving the journey, is so incredibly crucial. And then the fourth phase is all about embodiment. This is where you are so practiced with what has been moving you forward, the 80% of what you do, which is what I explained in our first training. You want to focus 80% of your time on the things that you do that contribute to the most of your results. So this is where you know what that is, and you're focused on doing that, and you're focused on continuing to execute that so it becomes a habit. And so you're actually embodying that person that you need to be to do those things, and you're also embodying the person that you're becoming, right? It's becoming so practiced, that state, those actions, the way you need to think about yourself so that it becomes second nature. And then that's when you've transformed, right? So that is the process of transformation. And for us as coaches and people who work in personal development, this is primarily what we do. We help people through a transformation process. So it can be so incredibly frustrating when you, in your life, whether it's your business or another area of life, are trying to grow, are trying to transform something, but you're experiencing this self-sabotage cycle because you want to master it because that's what you're an expert at. But because of the way you're designed as a human, you are going to have some struggles through that journey. That's just going to be part of the process. And then on top of that, when we're not working with these three systems and we're contributing to this cycle of self-sabotage, and we're unconsciously approaching transformation, and we're not moving through this conscious transformation cycle with intention, this is when we make everything so much harder. And then it has this feedback loop of impacting the way you perceive yourself as a coach and as someone in personal development, which you then use against yourself to say you shouldn't be doing this. So it's a really, really, really incredibly important problem to focus your attention on solving in your business. Now, I am not saying that you won't experience challenges. You will experience challenges. You will experience setbacks. You will experience failures. You will experience discomfort. It will be challenging. That is just part of growing. It's part of transforming. It's part of change. But what I'm saying is you will allow things to move more quickly, and you will allow things to be more easeful than what they otherwise would be when you're working against this transformation cycle. So what do we need to do in order to work with this process? To work with your body, your mind, and your intuition and have them aligned with your growth in the best way you can, you want to first accept where you are. You want to check in with your intuition. You can ask, why is where I am right now great? What do you appreciate about where we are right now? And I would look at business, your life, as well as how you feel within yourself. And you also, on a body and mind level, so that's with tuning in with your intuition, but then you also want to tune in with your body and your mind and ask those same questions. Why is where we are great right now? And move yourself to a place of celebration, or like I said before, at least a place of neutrality. Now, if you want to know how other exercises to do in order to do this, this is something I teach in my private coaching as well as my business mastermind. Number 2, you want to continue then moving towards your goals. So in order to do that, you need to know what your goals are. If you go back to our first training, I gave you an exercise and a question to ask yourself in order to understand what they are. If that's still not clear, and it may not be because you could be working against this conscious transformation cycle, then this is another reason why you might want to get support by someone like me working in either private coaching or a mastermind to help you come to a place of awareness and acceptance first, so that you can then be really clear on what it is you want from a deeper place, from an aligned place within you in terms of your business goals, your life goals, as well as how you want to feel within yourself in terms of thrive. And then thirdly, you want to support your body, your mind, and your intuition throughout the process of change. This requires you to know how to connect with your intuition, to be checking in, to be leading the process with your intuition. And it also requires you to know how to work with your body and your mind. These are different systems. The mind needs conscious realignment. You need to look at the stories you're telling yourself every single day. You need to look at what you're focusing your attention on. You need to be self-coaching. I also recommend you work with peers or with a coach or mentor in Business Mastermind to help you keep becoming aware of your blind spots, because a lot of it is unconscious. You think you're focused on this, but actually the stories you're telling yourself are something completely different, which is what is creating this resistance to the growth you want. And then on a body level, which is more about the unconscious part of your mind and about your emotional experience, there is a part of your body that is just closed. We don't know why. We don't even need to know why, like I was telling you. But what we do know is that the body is committed to staying where it is. And so you need to learn how to relax and open the body up to that process of growth and transformation. And that is something that I teach. And to do that, you need to work with the body, right? You're not working with the mind, the conscious mind, and you're not working with your intuition. You've got to work in the language of the body. So looks like working with the body, using embodiment exercises, the language that the body speaks, learning how to release emotions, learning how to experience emotions in order to release them. That allows you then to move forward in a more aligned way. And that is something I also support my clients with in both private coaching and my business mastermind. Okay, so the questions I want you to ask yourself so that you can understand whether this is a problem for you, and also start to get ideas about how you can practically begin to solve this problem. I've got 3 questions for you to journal on. The first is, what am I unconsciously committed to right now? Now, the answer to this question is where you are right now in your life. Absolutely everything that you're experiencing in business, in your life, and your emotional state, and in terms of how you would describe whether or not you're thriving, you, on one of those systems, some of those systems, all of those systems, which are body, mind, and intuition, are committed to remaining where you are right now on some level. So you want to really get clear. This is what I'm unconsciously committed to. This is so illuminating to answer because it allows you to take responsibility for moving forward, rather than saying, hey, I know that I want X, but for some reason, like something outside of me is stopping me from moving forward. Instead, you can claim, okay, I know what I'm committed to because it's exactly as things are now. And note that what you're unconsciously committed to are all the good things happening in your life too. So this isn't all bad, right? And then number 2, what do I want to be committed to? Again, this is where you go back to training 1 and you answer the questions about what results you really want to create in your business, in your life, and also within yourself in terms of thriving. So again, if you have not worked through that first step of the transformation process, it's likely that your answer to this question would not be the same after you've worked through that first stage consciously. So just something to pay attention to. Number 3, how can I both accept where I am right now and continue moving towards where I want to go? You've probably had some ideas through this training today, and you might come up with some ideas of your own. You want to start giving yourself some practical steps you can take to start realigning that body, mind, and intuition and yourself so that you're not self-sabotaging the growth that you want. So that's today's training. Tomorrow's training, we are talking about the number one biggest block to growth in your business. And this is all about focusing your attention on solving the right problems in your business right now, based on where you are in your business right now. This will be more about the practical aspects and the practical problems to solve based on the stage of business you're in right now. It's really important. And there's a reason we're ending on it, because once you have that focus, it also stops you from worrying about all of the other things that are distracting your attention right now in your business, and you'll feel really motivated to move forward and to move forward with a clear focus. So there you have it, my beautiful friends. I hope you enjoyed today's episode all about how to stop self-sabotaging your business growth journey. As we can see, when we work with the conscious transformation cycle and we show up for all 4 phases in the order that they're meant to be addressed, we set ourselves up to thrive and grow more easily and rapidly with anything that we want to change, transform, or grow in our businesses and our lives. So learning how to implement this in your business not only helps you with business growth, it also helps you with anything else in your life that you want to change, transform, or grow. I have seen huge results in all my clients' lives who are using this process. It's really helping to free them from long-standing patterns. This is what allows you to show up and actually step into who you need to be to hold the growth and the next chapter of your business and your life that you're calling in. Now, make sure you register for Business for Her if you would like to dive into the other trainings. There are 5 trainings in total. I shared 1 training last week on the podcast. You've got today's training. There's another 3 trainings. One of them's happening tomorrow. You can get access to the replays for a limited time only, completely for free. So make sure you go ahead and register right now over at Business for Her. Head to leticiaringe.com/business for her. And if you're listening to this episode at some point in the future, follow that link, as it will redirect you to something that will also support you. Now, my beautiful friends, remember to keep an eye out for our next episode. If you're not receiving my newsletters, make sure you receive my newsletters, because that's where I'll let you know when we've got new episodes, as well as the details when I open up my next business offerings. You'll be getting details about my private business coaching, as well as my business mastermind and business support services. All of these are here to help you grow and thrive in that journey of growth as you grow your business. You get special female-centric support for building and growing your business. This is something that I'm a specialist in. You will not learn what you're going to learn, the combination of everything that you're going to learn from me, anywhere else, because it's something I've built uniquely over all the years I've been in business. And it's my absolute pleasure to be able to offer these offerings to you all after having a number of years where I have not been offering this business support for our community. It is so fun to be back supporting my clients with business and to be talking about business again. And I'm really excited to bring that energy to you all and that new perspective so that we can move forward even more aligned in our journey of building our businesses and thriving as women in business. And for those of you who work in the coaching and personal development industry, thriving as coaches and people serving in the personal development industry, which is an industry that I believe and care about so deeply. And without further ado, you have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll see you in our next episode. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Create a Life That Is Beautiful podcast, your go-to resource for personal development and coaching. To deepen your learning and practice, make sure you're subscribed to receive our community newsletter. Subscribe at leticiaringe.com/newsletter. And if you haven't yet left a 5-star review for the podcast, we ask that you please do that now so that this podcast can reach other listeners who also want to join us in creating a life that is beautiful.